So we finally got the trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake we've been waiting for so long, and we've been covering speculation as much as we can, but today we finally have the trailer. We're going to be running it for the whole entirety of the video, and then we're going to be reading an article from windowscentral.com that's just diving into everything we know about the game so far in its entirety, as well as what we could pick away from the trailer. So without further ado, let's get right into it. If you guys do enjoy the content, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys are new to the channel and want to stay up to date on all the latest gaming news we cover, as well as just turn on that notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. As always, let's get right into it. So like I said, the article we're going to be reading from is from windowscentral.com. It says Resident Evil 4 remake, trailer, release date, and everything you need to know. Leon is once again a bad enough dude to rescue the president's daughter. The rumors were true, and Resident Evil 4 remake is really happening. Capcom is continuing its hot streak of remaking classic Resident Evil games, and this next remake isn't just any game. It's one of the most beloved Capcom games of all time. With the remake this ambitious for the game, this high profile, it's safe to say that your expectations are higher and fans will have questions, so here's everything you need to know about Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 remake is, as the name implies, a remake of the original Resident Evil 4, which first launched back on January 11th, 2005. While Resident Evil 4 was originally designed for the GameCube, it has been ported to practically every gaming platform under the sun. The Resident Evil 4 remake is designed to modernize the game. Even if Resident Evil 4 is more playable than other games Capcom has remade, it's still aged regards to controls and visuals. With its third-person shooting controls, Resident Evil 4 was critically acclaimed and is widely considered one of the most influential games of its time, helping to kickstart the third-person shooter as a genre, as well as more directly inspiring the Dead Space franchise. Capcom notes that Resident Evil 4 Remake is being developed using the proprietary RE engine, which has been used in most Capcom games over the last few years, including Resident Evil games like Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, and is being used in the upcoming Street Fighter 6. With that said, the game seems to be the closest to the original out of the remake so far, at least in regards to how it plays. While Capcom is using RE Engine to modernize the controls and visuals, the game appears to still be a third-person survival horror. Capcom's Resident Evil titles over the last few years are some of the best horror games you can play, and it seems like Resident Evil 4 Remake can join the roster. The announcement trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake was unveiled during Sony's June 2022 PlayStation State of Play showcase, and like I said, we'll have the trailer running the whole time. Past Resident Evil remakes such as the Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remake haven't been completely one-to-one in regards to the story, and it appears Resident Evil 4 remake will also have some differences. With that said, the story will keep the same premise. 6 years after the events of Resident Evil 2, Leon Kennedy is recruited to rescue Ashley Graham, the president's daughter. In the middle of his investigation, Leon makes the way to a remote European village. There, Leon is thrown into a dark fight for survival against horrific monsters and sinister cult. Capcom notes that the team is reimagining the storyline of the game, so it's safe to say the game won't be the same beat for beat, that Capcom is also focused on keeping the essence of its direction. So expect smaller deviations and surprises, not truly massive differences. Reports prior to the game's reveal indicated that Resident Evil 4 Remake is set to take on a spookier tone, with some scenes now taking place at night, or using concepts that were dropped during the original game. Despite being announced for the PS5 at Sony's June 2022 State of Play, Resident Evil 4 Remake is not a PlayStation exclusive game. It's also being developed for the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. This means that Resident Evil 4 Remake won't be available on last-generation consoles like the Xbox One and PS4. This was almost the case for Resident Evil Village, but Capcom was able to get versions running on the older hardware in time for launch. Because Resident Evil 4 Remake is being developed exclusively for the latest consoles and PC, the game can take fully advantage of the advanced processing power and ultra-fast SSDs in these machines. That means shorter load times or eventually no loading screens at all. Resident Evil Village utilized some ray tracing to improve overall image quality, and seems likely that some will happen for the Resident Evil 4 remake. There is some PlayStation exclusivity around the game, however, Capcom notes that there is some kind of content is being developed to support the PSVR 2, Sony's next virtual reality gaming headset. It's not currently clear whether this will be a specific mode or if the entire game is playable in VR, like with the Resident Evil 4 VR for the Quest 2. Capcom is also working on a version of Resident Evil Village for PSVR 2, which will allow players to experience the full game in VR. The Resident Evil 4 remake was announced with the release date of March 24, 2023. Amusingly, this makes Resident Evil 4 part of the potential hot streak of big-budget horror games. The Callisto Protocol from Krafton and Striking Distance Studios is slated to launch on December 2nd, 2022, while the Dead Space remake is scheduled to arrive January 27th, 2023. That means that players are getting 3 big third-person horror games in a span of a couple of months. Additionally, Dead Space was directed by the original Resident Evil 4, while the Callisto Protocol is being created by developers who worked on the original Dead Space, adding to the amusement of the situation. Right now, we'll have to wait and see whether this release date holds given the generally unsteady state of game development over the last couple years. With that in mind, it's worth noting that Resident Evil Village launched on May 7th, 2021. With Resident Evil Village Remake slated to launch almost 2 years later, this is actually not the longest period between Resident Evil game launches. Since the release of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard on January 24th, 2017, the Resident Evil 2 Remake launched on January 25th, 2019, while the Resident Evil 3 Remake was released on April 3rd, 2020. So that's going to do it for everything we know about the game so far. I'm super excited about it. I'm definitely going to pre-order for that March date. It's actually coming a lot sooner than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like on a 2-year window like a lot of these game announcements are. So that gets me even more excited for March next year. And you think about it, it's already, June now. So we only got a few more months to go. Definitely going to have to run through the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes one more time just to get me up to speed. But if you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys are new to the channel and want to stay up to date on the latest gaming news we cover, as well as just turn on the notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. As always, my name is Ross, and I'll see you guys in the next video.